So Amazon KDP is changing, and if you're thinking of starting KDP this year, there are a few things that you must keep in mind. The truth is, there's never been a better time to start this business than right now. But the way you should approach this business has completely changed from a few years ago. So in this video, I'm going to show you what is working and how you can get started. If you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. I started Amazon KDP in 2016. I reached 10K per month after 10 months, and I built a multiple six-figure a year Amazon KDP business, which I ran that for multiple years, and I eventually sold that account for $820,000. After that, I started another KDP account. It's also doing six figures a year, and it's growing from there. I also have a Amazon KDP coaching program where I teach other people to do the same, and a lot of my students are actually doing better than me, right? So these are actual student results. I am blurring the face and the name to protect their privacy, but we had a member recently hit $100,000 in a single month, and not just one person, but another person did that as well, hitting over $100,000 in a single month. And not just two, but a third person did that as well. And this member did $279,000 in a single month. Obviously, this is revenue, not profit. But if you read the post, you can see that the total spend was $79,000, which means the actual profit is $200,000, which is insane. So if you also want to achieve success with Amazon KDP, the first thing you need to do is to go from skepticism to fully believing that this business is for you. So nowadays, you have so many options, so many different business models, so many different opportunities. You're constantly bombarded with new side hustle ideas, new business models every single day, right? So with so many options out there, how do you know that Amazon KDP is the best one for you? Now, I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say that Amazon KDP is the best business for every single person out there. So here are a few questions that can determine if KDP is the right business for you. Question number one, do you hate working with demanding clients? Because as an example, if you do a service-based business, right, providing service for somebody else, you'll be dealing with clients always complaining, clients demanding instant results because they're paying you for the service, right? They want to see results instantly. You're always chasing new clients as you lose existing ones, always getting on phone, always doing sales calls, always doing meetings. And those things are inevitable, right? It's unavoidable because that's what the business requires you to do. So if you prefer a business where you're not answering to anyone and you can work on your own time, then KDP might be for you. Question number two, do you want a beginner-friendly business model? So Amazon KDP is a very, very beginner-friendly model because it is first off a print-on-demand model, right? This means you do not deal with any inventory. Amazon only prints and ships your book after you make a sale. So for that reason, you never have to deal with inventory. But on top of that, Amazon handles the shipping and handling. They also handle the manufacturing, which is printing the book, right? They also handle the refunds and the customer service that comes after making a sale, which is exactly why it's beginner friendly. Because with other businesses, again, you have to do this, but with Amazon KDP, you don't have to, which means you have a lot less things you need to learn before you start making money. Question number three, do you want to build passive income for retirement? Now, Amazon KDP is a very interesting business model because not only can you make money while you're building the business, it can also generate long-term income even if you stop working on it. Because this is how Amazon KDP essentially work, right? You publish books on Amazon where millions of shoppers are already hanging out. And once you publish these books, it stays on Amazon indefinitely, right? It's not like it's gonna, be removed after a year or two. It's there for life, right? And Amazon's not going anywhere. It's the biggest retail store and it's probably going to continue to grow. I don't really see a competitor coming in replacing Amazon. So your book is going to be on Amazon forever, earning monthly royalties for you. So I always compare this business model to digital real estate. With real estate, you do the work up front, right? You pay some money to acquire the property, you fix it up, and then once you rent it out, it becomes very, very passive. Same thing with Amazon KDP, right? You put in a little bit of work to create the book, but once it's on Amazon, it becomes very passive. And since Amazon handles so many things for you, that's another reason why things can get really passive. So if you've answered yes to all three of these questions, then Amazon KDP is the best business for you. So now that you understand that KDP is the right business for you, it is time for you to go all in. You want to stop with the mindset of, oh, I'm just going to try it for one book, see how it goes, test the water. And if it doesn't work, I'm going to try another business model, this and that, right? Do not do that because now you know KDP is the best business for you, which means it's time for you to go all in. Because the thing is, this is not a get rich quick scheme, right? It is a legit business and a legit business takes time to grow. So if you think you can get to 10K a month in a month after starting, you're out of your mind. Okay. okay? It takes time. And because people come in with this false expectation, that often comes from other hyped up YouTube videos, right? When they don't achieve the results fast enough, they get discouraged and quit. Now, in terms of how fast can you start seeing results, usually I say that you can start seeing some results after a couple months and big results after a year, right? So I personally hit $1,000 in a month after 3 months, okay? And I hit 10K in a month in 10 months. Now, some people do it faster, some people take longer, but the biggest thing to understand once again is this is a real business and it takes time to build. And if you can stick to this and go all in for at least a year, I can almost guarantee your life would change. Trust me on this. Because I literally went from a broke kid in his early 20s to becoming a millionaire at age 26 from actually doing KDP, right? Not from doing YouTube, not from making YouTube videos or selling courses, right? I only started doing that. I only started teaching other people how to do the same after I made 7 figures from this business. So now that we have the mindset part out of the way, I want to transition into more strategic stuff. And one of the biggest things you have to understand is you have to create books that are proven to work. If you want success, you should do what a successful person does, right? Well, if you want to make 10K per month with Amazon KDP, you should model other successful KDP brands that are also doing 10K per month. If you're doing low content books, then you can model someone like Kayla Shaheen. She's extremely successful creating guided journals. And by using this tool called KD Spy, I can see that just from paperback, she's doing over $48,000 in a month. Same as this brand called Hear Your Story. And they also create custom guided journals. And they're currently doing over $267,000 in a month. If you're doing more medium content books like coloring books, you can model from someone like Coco Real. They're extremely successful creating these cozy coloring books. And at the moment, they're doing over $1.6 million in a month. Finally, if you're doing high content books like fiction or non-fiction books, then you can model someone like Nick Trenton, and he is doing over $81,000 in a month just from paperback. Once you find a successful book or a brand, what you want to do is to analyze what they do, right? How are they making the book cover? How are they titling their book? How does their A+ content look like, right? Try to just analyze what they're doing and see what you can learn from it, okay? Take the best parts from multiple books and you want to combine it into your book. You want to read the reviews, both positive and negative, and do what the customers liked, right? Whenever you read a comment from the customer saying, I really like this part, and you see multiple people saying the same thing, then you should definitely add that into your book. And if you also read a ton of negative comments of people saying, I didn't like this part, then you obviously should not do that. So you want to do this with all of your best-selling competitors, right? Take the best parts from your competitors and you'll do that with multiple competitors. You will combine that and put it into your book as well as you will put your own unique touches to it. So it's not like you're ripping off your competitor 100%, right? You're taking the best parts, but you're also adding your own thing to it. And that is how you create the best book on the market. The next thing is to focus on inputs rather than results. So building a business takes time. And if you start Amazon KDP with the goal of hitting 10K per month, and that is the only metric you focus on, then if you don't hit that number, you're gonna get discouraged fast. The issue is that there are so many get rich quick videos on YouTube that people's expectation of how long something should take versus how long something actually take is just completely off. So people come in thinking, oh, I can probably hit 10K in a month in 1-2 months, right? And if you don't do that, they're like, oh, it's not working, so they just quit. What you want to do is instead of focusing on the income, you want to focus on the inputs, which means how much you're putting into the business. So as an example, instead of aiming to make 10K per month, you can aim to publish 20 high quality books, and that should be your metric instead of the actual income. But by focusing on the inputs, right, which is publishing more books, the outputs, the results of making 10K per month will often follow. And 20 books to do 10K per month is actually pretty realistic because typically, even for my coaching students, we're aiming to do between $300 to $500 a month per book on average. Now, obviously, some book will do a lot more than that, but that is a pretty conservative range. Now, when I say to publish 20 books, I'm not just telling you to spam low quality books, right? You want to focus on making each book actually good. So if you're watching this and you're now thinking, all right, cool. So that means if I make 20 books, you can guarantee that I'll make 10K per month. If that is what you're looking for, if you want a guarantee like that, then building a business is probably not for you. Because the harsh truth is that nothing is guaranteed, right? Not just in business, but in life as well. But, putting in work without knowing if it'll work is literally part of business. If you want guarantees, honestly, you shouldn't be building a business. You should be getting a job because with a job, you have a guarantee that you put in an hour and you will get paid a certain amount. But in business, it doesn't work like that. You don't have any guarantees. And so you can invest a lot of time, energy, money, and not have any returns. And because you are risking more, right, compared to having a job, that is why when you do succeed, you make way more money than having a job because most people aren't willing to take the risk. So for the few who does, the rewards are higher. But with that being said, if you find other books that are selling well, right, like I said earlier, and you analyze them, take what they do best, apply it to your book, and make something just as good, if not better than your competitors, then there's no reason it shouldn't work. So when it comes to building a successful Amazon KDP business, it is all about being consistent and doing a few key things over and over. As I mentioned earlier, this business is very simple compared to others. All you really have to do is focus on these three things. Number one, you want to publish more books. Number two, you want to market those books. And number three, build your audience. And you keep repeating these steps over and over and over until you hit your desired income goal. So it's not really about, having the most skills or being the smartest person. It's really about being consistent and doing these things over and over. So when I started this, I wasn't the smartest, right? I was failing in other businesses for 4 years straight. I had no results in terms of business before this. I think I was 21 years old, so I had no special skills as well. English wasn't even my first language, but I excelled at one thing, and that is that I showed up every single day. Being consistent, taking action, that was something that I could do, right? I didn't really have anything else, but at least I could show up and do the work every single day. So if you can stick to a simple process and repeat it daily, then I'm confident you will succeed. And the best part is that you really only need about 30 minutes to an hour a day to build your KDP business. All right, so the next one is you have to go from a consumer to a producer. Okay, so essentially there are two types of people in business. Number one is consumers, okay? They watch the videos, they read the books, they scroll through social media, they consume content as much as possible, but they do not make money. And on the other hand, there are producers, right? These are the people who produce books, produce the emails, produce social media posts, right? And they make money because they are the ones that are producing the content. So the goal is to shift from consumer to producer as fast as possible. So in the beginning, when you just get started with KDP, right, it's okay to be 90% consuming content because you have to learn the process, and you're probably going to be 10% producing, which means taking action. And that is completely normal because once again, in the beginning, you do have to consume content to learn the process. However, the mistake is that too many people get stuck in this learning phase. So most people never leave the learning phase because of the fear of taking action, right? They think that if they take action and they fail, maybe their friends will judge them, the family would judge them, right? Or maybe they judge themselves, like they view themselves as a failure. So because that is scary, they stay in the safe zone of just endlessly consuming content, endlessly watching the videos, endlessly going through the courses, right? And learning a ton, but they never publish a book. They never take action. So if you're here watching the videos for months and months and months, and you feel good because you're learning, right? And you think you're progressing because you're learning, well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but you're never gonna make any money if you actually don't implement what you learn, right? Watching videos aren't going to make you money. You have to actually publish the book and do something with the information that you learn to go and make money. So consuming easy, once again, watching videos are so easy, right? But actually going out and producing the book, that is harder, that is more scary, right? Because you're risking your time, energy, maybe some money, right? And also some people associate their self-worth with the success, right? But you have to do that if you want to make money. So people never take action because they view failure as a bad thing, right? And because they view it as a bad thing, right, they try to avoid it. But what you have to do is, instead of avoiding failure, right, you want to fail as fast as possible. You actually want to seek failure, because failure is actually not failure. Failure is actually just a learning process, right? So you want to reframe your thinking, because every failure teaches you what doesn't work so that you can adjust and improve. So you're actually moving faster to success by failing faster. Okay? Just like Thomas Edison, right? The inventor of the light bulb. He said, I've not failed, but found 1,000 ways to not make a light bulb. That's the exact same mindset you should have. So the 80-20 rule applies here. So 80% of your results will come from 20% of your actions. And the opposite is true as well. 80% of your time is spent on things that produces less than 20% of your results, which is like scrolling through social media and doing, useless things. Okay? So you want to really avoid wasting time. You want to constantly ask yourself, is this action the 20% that's going to produce me 80% of the results? So your success depends on your ability to focus on high impact activities that actually drives revenue. Let me give you some examples of the activities. Okay. So when it comes to the 80-20 rule, once again, the 20% of the activities that's going to bring 80% of the results are publishing more books, marketing it effectively, and building an audience. And you just repeat this over and over and over. Okay. That's the most efficient way. And the 80% of the activities that's going to bring 20% of the results is watching endless KDP YouTube videos, scrolling through social media, checking emails every single day, refreshing your KDP dashboard, right, constantly, engaging in Facebook groups without taking action. So even if you're in like the KDP Facebook group and you're networking with other people and you think you're learning, well, once again, if you're not implementing those strategies, then you're not doing anything essentially. So learning is great, but consuming content without actually implementing it is a complete waste of time. The only way to actually make money is to take action. And once you start taking action and once you start making money, you have to reinvest. If you want to hit 10K per month, you shouldn't be taking money out if you're making like 100, 200 bucks a month, 300 bucks a month, whatever, right? You should reinvest that profit into hiring writers, which is going to save you even more time. Hiring cover designers, which is going to improve your sales, right? You can get paid tools like Bookbeam as an example to speed up your research. Now, if you guys want a tutorial on where to actually go to hire talents to invite into your team, well, I do have a step-by-step tutorial on using Upwork for Amazon KDP specifically, which is a good place to hire high-quality freelancers at an affordable cost. So I'll leave a link in the description for this video. So you want to build systems to scale, right? To make consistent money in KDP, you have to build systems. The faster you publish, market, and grow your audience, the core 3 activities, the more your income grows. So starting KDP is low cost, yes. But if you want to scale, it does require investment because you do have to pay for the designers. If you want to, pay for the cover designers, right? So you do have to start hiring people, but obviously at that point you're making money so that you can just reinvest the profits that you have. The way I structure my team is I got my ghostwriters, I got the editor to oversee the ghostwriters, I have the cover designers, I got a formatter, right? Format the entire book. I have the Amazon ad specialist, so I don't even run ads for myself. Somebody else does that. And I also have a virtual assistant that does miscellaneous tasks in between. If you want to learn exactly how I do this, right? I do have a video on how I work less than 4 hours a week. Right now, it's like a lot less than that. But anyways, once again, I'll leave a link to this video in the description. In terms of the first task to outsource, I do recommend you start with book cover design because your book cover is the #1 factor that determines sales. So honestly, even if you're just getting started and you're low on budget, I do recommend to outsource the book cover like right now because it is that important, especially if you don't have the design skills. It's way better to outsource your book cover to a professional just from the beginning instead of you trying to create a cover on Canva or something. So after you have your book cover outsourced, the next thing is the writing, the illustrations, the formatting, and then the Amazon ads and other stuff. So here are some examples of book cover designers that you can hire on Fiverr and the price point and the samples, right? So this one is 15 bucks for one book cover, and this is for more low content books. But these are the samples. I think it's pretty good for 15 bucks, like what you can get. So outsourcing a book cover doesn't even have to cost a lot of money. So this is definitely one option. This is another option, which is more so like business nonfiction self-help. She's getting pretty busy because I did recommend her a couple times. I recommend her because it's good, right? But anyways, it's 35 bucks. And you can see that it's pretty damn good. I mean, this is 35 bucks. Jesus, it's really good. And when it comes to book covers, it's not always the more you pay, the better the quality, right? Sometimes, you can pay less and get a really good high quality, like the options that I showed you. But this is also another one that's a little more on the higher budget that you can consider. And these are some samples. So once again, I'll leave a link to all these in the description below. So in conclusion, Amazon KDP still works. I actually think it is one of the best business models to start right now, right? It's not because I make YouTube videos on it, right? It's not because I teach people on how to do this. Like, I wouldn't be teaching this business model if I genuinely didn't believe that it was the best business model to start. If I believed that there was another business model that was better, I honestly would be making videos on how to do that business model. So the fact that I'm still making this video means I still think KDP is pretty damn awesome. So KDP definitely works, right? But just because it works doesn't mean it's guaranteed to work for you, because whether you make it a success or not depends on you, right? How much you put into it. How soon can you move from a consumer to a producer? Are you gonna stay in the consumer mode, just endlessly watching content and never taking action? Or are you gonna be, producing content, right? Publishing those books. As an example, I have a student who made $40,000 in profit last month, and he is publishing a bunch of books. He moves faster than anyone else that I know of, and he's been doing this only for a year and a half, right? So at year and a half, he got the 40K profit last month, but obviously he's making money, all the other months as well, right? Profit, and in last December, he did like $80,000 in revenues. So how fast do you want to get to that point? Really depends on how fast can you start implementing and start taking action, okay? Anyways, if you do want another step-by-step tutorial for beginners, then I do have this complete Amazon KDP tutorial teaching you how to make your first $1,000, right? If you haven't watched this video, it's one of my most viral video out there, most viewed video, right? So it's a pretty good video. If you want to check it out, the link is in the description. And finally, if you're serious about building your Amazon KDP business, and if you want to work with us one-on-one, right? I do have the coaching program, as I mentioned a couple times in this video. It's the first link in the the description. When you click on it, it'll take you to a page like this. And from here, you can apply for a free call to see if this program is a good fit for you. Now, just as a disclaimer that this is not a free coaching call, this is a free call to see if the coaching program is a fit for you, okay? And obviously for the coaching program, it's gonna cost some money. We also don't work with those who's looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. We also do not work with someone who has a horrible mindset. If you're entitled or rude, we will not work with you. Meaning, even if you wanna join, we will straight up tell you no, okay? And that is why we wanna talk to you first to determine if you are a good fit. Because this is not just a course, right? You also get one-on-one coaching calls, group coaching calls, the community, you know, a lot of coaching involved. So we're actually working with you too, and we don't want to work with someone who have a really crappy mindset or comes in super entitled. And finally, we only allow you to join if we genuinely think we can help. So after the conversation, right, if we think this is not a good fit, if we think we cannot help you with our skill sets, then we will straight up tell you. And because we're so confident in our program and in our results, we do have a 6-month action-based guarantee, meaning if you come in, you take action, you follow our strategies, and you publish one book, and if you're not happy, then you will get a full refund. Now, obviously, if you come in and do nothing, right, absolutely no action, then, you know, that's not our problem. But if you come in and you genuinely follow the strategies and you do the coaching calls, right, we review your books, we approve it, you publish that, you take action, you get some reviews. Basically, you do what we teach you to do. And if you're still not happy after 6 months, then we do not deserve your money. So once again, if you want to apply, it's the first link in the description, as well as all the tools and resources that I mentioned in this video. So if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.